If you can shift your body into a state where your healthy cells are burning ketones for fuel, you create a metabolic environment that is fundamentally hostile to cancer cell survival.
Hello, I'm Dr. Davidson. You know, after nearly 30 years as a doctor, I've seen our bodies do some incredible things. And I'm here because I really want to challenge this myth that so many of us have come to believe, that cancer is just some kind of genetic death sentence. The truth is, your body has these powerful built-in defense systems. And today, we're going to talk about giving those systems the exact fuel they were designed to use.
Okay, let's just dive right in with a number that honestly should stop you in your tracks. 16,000. You can have a microscopic tumor, seriously, no bigger than the tip of a pen, just sitting harmlessly in your body for years. But the second it gets its own blood supply, it can explode to 16,000 times its original size. And get this, in just 2 weeks.
So what's that trigger? What's the switch that gets flipped? Well, it's a process called angiogenesis. It's basically the growth of new blood vessels. Now, when a tumor manages to hijack this process, it's like it builds its own personal superhighway for nutrients to flow right in. And that's what turns a harmless little cluster of cells into a really life-threatening problem. So you see, the key isn't just about killing cancer cells, it's about cutting off their supply lines.
I want you to think of your body as having this elite internal security team that works 24/7. First up, you've got immune surveillance. These are your special forces, T cells and the like, that are constantly hunting down rogue cells. Next, you have a built-in anti-angiogenesis system. Its entire job is to stop tumors from building those blood supply highways. And finally, you have your DNA repair crew, constantly patching up genetic errors before they become a problem. Our job is to give this team the best tools for the job. So let's start with that DNA repair crew. Picture your DNA as a long road that's constantly getting potholes from things like pollutants, stress, and even sunlight. Well, our first food, the kiwi fruit, is the ultimate road crew. It's amazing, really. So many of us just walk right past these in the grocery store, but they are an absolute powerhouse for DNA maintenance. And look, the science on this is just crystal clear. A study from the University of Oslo found that eating just 1 kiwi a day gave people's cells 60% more protection against DNA damage. That's incredible on its own, but look at what happened with 3 kiwis a day. The cells didn't just protect themselves, they actively repaired existing damage by 60%. That's a huge difference. That's moving from playing defense to playing offense. So how do you put this into practice? Well, it's easy. Just aim for 1 to 3 kiwis every day. And here's a pro tip for you. If you can get organic ones, eat the skin. I know it sounds a little weird, but it's loaded with extra fiber and these protective plant compounds called polyphenols. Oh, and if you see the golden kiwis, grab them. They're fantastic for your eye health because they have a lot more lutein. Okay, so we've repaired the road. Now let's cut the enemy's fuel line. Our second food, green tea, is one of the best weapons we have for this. It contains this incredibly powerful compound called EGCG, and it is an absolute master at shutting down angiogenesis and basically starving tumors. But listen, with green tea, how you prepare it is everything. Aim for about 3 cups a day. Now, the big secret here is to use hot water, but not boiling. You're shooting for around 175 degrees Fahrenheit. Boiling water actually destroys the delicate EGCG molecules. Want to make it even more powerful? Add a squeeze of lemon juice. It multiplies your body's absorption by 6 times. And here's the never rule. Never ever add dairy milk. It actually binds to the EGCG and makes it completely useless. All right, next up, we need to call in the special forces. Blueberries are like a direct signal to your immune system, telling it to ramp up production of its most elite soldiers. I'm talking about your T cells and your natural killer cells, the ones that are designed to identify and destroy cancer cells on sight. So here's the game plan for blueberries. 1 cup daily is the goal. And here's something that might surprise you. Frozen is often better than fresh. That's because they're flash frozen at peak ripeness, which locks in the nutrients. If you can find wild blueberries, even better. They have nearly double the antioxidant power. And just like with green tea, you want to avoid eating them with dairy because it blocks the absorption of all those amazing medicinal compounds.
You know, everybody knows broccoli is good for you, but there's a huge secret here that most people miss. The real anti-cancer hero in broccoli is a compound called sulforaphane. Now, a mature head of broccoli has it, sure, but look at this. Those tiny 3-day-old broccoli sprouts, they contain up to 100 times more sulforaphane than the fully grown plant. It's just unbelievable.
So the protocol here is incredibly simple. You just need a 1/4 cup of sprouts, maybe 3 or 4 times a week, to get this incredible potency. Now, if you're eating mature broccoli,
Focus on the stems. They actually have more sulforaphane than the little green florets. And the most critical cooking rule of all, never ever boil your broccoli. You want to lightly steam it for just 3 to 4 minutes to activate all of its power.
Let's move on to our next food, and this one is a true masterclass in how simple preparation can unlock powerful medicine. We're talking about cooked tomatoes. Now, don't get me wrong, raw tomatoes are great, but when you cook them, you release this incredibly powerful anti-angiogenic shield called lycopene.
And the data on this is just so compelling. A huge landmark Harvard study showed that men who ate just 2 servings of cooked tomato products a week had a 23% lower risk of prostate cancer. But look at the guys eating 10 or more servings a week, their risk dropped by 35%. You see what's happening here? It's a clear dose-response relationship. The more you eat, the more protection you get.
So here's how you put that into practice. Just aim for at least 3 servings a week of things like tomato sauce, tomato paste, or even roasted tomatoes. Now the golden rule, and you have to remember this one, is to always add olive oil. Lycopene is fat-soluble, which means your body needs fat to absorb it. This one simple addition triples your body's ability to use it.
Okay, now for a really unique food. Pomegranate. It doesn't just fight cancer directly. It's smarter than that. It actually enlists a powerful ally that lives in your gut. It feeds a very specific guardian bacteria called Akkermansia. And this is so critical because scientists are now finding that Akkermansia helps train your immune system, making modern cancer treatments like immunotherapy way more effective.
So to cultivate this little guardian, the goal is about 4 to 8 ounces of pure pomegranate juice a day or just eating half a fresh fruit. The key is making sure it's pure juice with no added sugar. And hey, if you can't find pomegranates, no worries. Walnuts and raspberries contain very similar compounds that also help feed your Akkermansia.
All right, let's talk about one of the most misunderstood foods out there, soy. I know a lot of people are scared of its phytoestrogens, but that fear is really based on a big misunderstanding. These plant-based compounds can actually block your body's own more powerful estrogen from latching onto receptors, which is a protective effect. But the real secret weapon in soy is a compound called genistein, which is one of the most potent angiogenesis inhibitors ever discovered.
Now, the crucial point here, and this is so important, is to choose the right kind of soy. You want to aim for 2 to 3 servings per week of whole soy foods. We're talking about tofu, tempeh, edamame, or unsweetened soy milk. What you absolutely must avoid are those highly processed soy protein isolates you find in so many protein bars and fake meats. They just don't provide the same benefits.
And that brings us to our final food, which targets the real root of the problem. You can think of chemotherapy sometimes like mowing a lawn full of dandelions. It gets the bulk of the tumor, the green part you see, but it can leave behind the roots. And those roots are the cancer stem cells that allow it to grow right back. Well, it turns out that purple potatoes contain specific compounds that actually hunt down and kill these very stem cells.
And there's this fascinating little trick to preparing them. You cook your purple potato, and then you cool it completely in the fridge for a few hours. This simple act actually changes its molecular structure, creating something called resistant starch. And this is fantastic because it feeds your good gut bacteria, and this is key, it prevents the big blood sugar spikes that cancer cells absolutely love to feed on.
Lastly, I want to quickly cover an advanced strategy and 2 very common mistakes. So on the do this side, you can use something called C8-MCT oil to create ketones. This is a special kind of fuel that your healthy cells love, but that most cancer cells, which are famously addicted to sugar, simply can't use. And on the avoid this side, please be careful about the toxins created when you improperly reheat certain fried foods or rice. Also, talk to your doctor about nutrient depletion from common medications, because that can seriously weaken your body's defenses.
So, how do you put all this together? Does it seem overwhelming? It's really not. Look at how a day could look. A morning smoothie with your wild berries and kiwis for that DNA repair. A salad for lunch with a 1/4 cup of broccoli sprouts. Your green tea in the afternoon to block angiogenesis. For dinner, maybe some cooked tomatoes with olive oil over some tofu or fish. And in the evening, a little pomegranate juice to guard the gut. See? It's all about consistency, not about being perfect.
I really want to leave you with this one thought. The patients I've seen over the decades who truly thrive, the ones who live with this amazing energy and vitality deep into their 80s and 90s, they aren't just lucky. They are actively and intentionally giving their body's amazing defense systems the exact tools they were designed to use. This isn't about luck. It's about making deliberate, science-based choices every single day.